Tax Avoiders has been hanging out with Donkey Kong Jr. for the 2600, which might not be the best thing in the world. Let's find out why he's hanging out with Donkey Kong Jr. when we go ahead and pop this into our Atari 7800 Pro system and find out how this version holds up today. Let's go to the game. Donkey Kong Jr. is based on the 1982 Nintendo arcade game. It was originally published by Coleco in 1983 and republished by Atari in the late 80s. It is a platformer for 1 or 2 players alternating with 8 skill levels, with 1 being the easiest and 8 being the most difficult. Mario has locked up Papa Donkey Kong, and now it's up to Donkey Kong Jr. to rescue him. In the game, you use the joystick to move Jr. and the button to jump. Jr. can climb up and down vines and chains throughout the game. He climbs up faster when holding 2 and down faster when only holding 1. He will also have to avoid Snapjaws and Nitpicker birds in this game. However, unlike most other versions, he has no fruit to drop on them. Donkey Kong Jr. has 3 of the 4 stages present from the arcade, however in a strange order. The first stage is the standard vine stage, in which Jr. must make his way to the top by navigating the vines and platforms while avoiding Snapjaws. The second stage is the key stage, which normally is the final stage of the game. Here Jr. must push 3 keys to the top of the screen to move on. There is a Nitpicker bird that constantly flies at ground level only, and Snapjaws that appear on higher difficulties. The third and final stage is Mario's Hideout. Instead of electrical charges, Mario throws out 2 Snapjaws at a time that travel in opposite directions. This level is incredibly difficult to pass due to the speed of the Snapjaws. Finish this level and the game loops at a higher difficulty and never stops to show you actually rescuing your dear old Papa. Point-wise, according to the manual, you get 100 points for getting a key to the top in the key stage, and bonus points depending how fast you finish the level. You also get an extra life when you reach 8,000 points. Graphically speaking, I actually think this is a step down from the often criticized 2600 version of the original Donkey Kong. Mario looks okay, but the levels look very bare-boned, and Jr. himself looks more like a monster from a Ghoulies movie than an ape. Even the caged Donkey Kong looks worse than the original game on the 2600. The music and sounds are not very pleasing either in this version. It does have a variation of box, toccata, and fugue that's often missing from other ports, but the sounds, especially that of Jr. climbing the vines, can be very irritating. Naturally, this is a family-friendly game, except no loving parent should allow their kids to play this version of Donkey Kong Jr. On eBay, loose versions of both the Coleco and Atari versions were selling for $7 to $10. Complete versions of the Atari version were selling for $11 to $15. There was one new Coleco version that sold for $80 and one new Atari version that sold for $27, and as always, those prices include shipping. So what did I think of Donkey Kong Jr. on the Atari 2600? It's terrible. This is the worst port of Donkey Kong Jr. I have played, and I'm a fan of Donkey Kong Jr., but I wouldn't recommend this to anyone. It looks awful, the sounds can be irritating, and the controls can be very frustrating. Sometimes getting on and off the vines was not always smooth, and the rapid speed of the Snapjaws led to many cheap deaths, even on the easiest levels. As a matter of fact, I believe they made Mario's Hideout the final level simply because of its unfair difficulty. I also didn't like the omission of the fruits. Taking away the fruits to drop is kind of like taking away the power pellets from Pac-Man. It really takes away a key part of the gameplay from the arcade game. So where am I going to rank Donkey Kong Jr.? Well, as you can imagine, it's going to be really low. Now, it's not bad enough to beat Tax Avoiders, to be the very bottom game on my list, but I would rather play Real Sports Baseball, so I'm going to make Donkey Kong Jr. my new number 51 game. Donkey Kong Jr. on the 2600 is a mess. If you enjoy retro-related videos, would you please click the like and subscribe buttons? You can also support the show through Patreon by going to patreon.com/NoSwearGamer. Also, be sure to check out some of my many other videos covering Atari, Sega, Nintendo, and more. I'm also a member of the Retro Junkies Network. You can find more retro podcasts and videos at theretrojunkies.com. Thank you for giving me a little part of your day, and I look forward to seeing you next time on the next episode of the No Swear Gamer. Take care and avoid this game.